was never pro-genocide, and you bought into the propaganda.
Hey, so I don't want to interrupt, but this video is disingenuous for a few reasons, and I'm gonna get into it.
Has constantly voiced against Israel's actions. If you don't want to believe that, that's because you're listening to mainstream media instead of Harris.
The pro-Palestinian position that Nick mentions that Kamala has is the position of being for a two-state solution, something that many Palestinian advocates have said over and over again that is not the desired outcome. Nick even goes on to mention that people are probably playing too much into listening to mainstream media and not Kamala. Well, in the debate, Kamala mentions that she is for a two-state solution, and she goes on further. I'll put the clip right here.
But the one thing I will assure you always, I will always give Israel the ability to defend itself, in particular as it relates to Iran and any threat that Iran and its proxies pose to Israel.
To defend themselves against Iran's proxies. Who are Iran's proxies? I'm trying to figure, let me think for a second. Perhaps if I just look it up, if I start typing to figure out who Iran's proxies are online, because the internet is free, I can figure out who Iran's proxies are. Nick, let's take an educational detour and figure out who Iran's proxies are. I don't know, it seemed like a conflict of interest to me, if I'm being honest.
But Nick, Biden is the de facto leader of the Democratic Party, and he's pro-Israel. Do you agree with your boss?
Then it's in the notion that... Then the next argument he has is that he talks about the fact that Democrats only voted to send defensive weapons.
But Nick, Democrats sent so many weapons over to Israel, only non-offensive weapons. You can disagree with that decision if you want to, but the fact is Democrats only voted for bills that sent defensive weapons to Israel, weapons that they could not use on the Gaza Strip or in Palestine. When you look at the bills that have offensive weapons going to Israel, you find out that Republicans voted for those bills and Democrats voted against them. You look at some of the bills like this that are bipartisan, and you see that both parties are voting for them. Go and read the bill, because when you do, it's always going to be defensive articles.
If you go out of your way to figure out what the defensive articles are, it literally states it for you. I said weapons, spare parts, weapons, and simulated. They emphasize the weapon part. I've been saying this for like a week or two. We should not care anymore who could have won and who didn't win. Like, Trump is in office. If you're really upset about what's going on during Trump's presidency, perhaps shut the fuck up and get to work.